He was so tired, heavy-eyed and lethargic. Warmth started at his feet and traveled in gentle waves upwards through his body, all the way to his burning ears. His head nodded back and forth in a familiar rhythm. Was it one of his songs or someone else's? Well, it didn't matter. He could feel the softness of the bed beneath him, but it felt so far away. Perhaps it belonged to someone else. He might as well have been resting on a cloud. No! His eyes shot open, and in a blind panic he attempted to focus on something in the room, anything. He must not fall asleep. He might not wake up. His eyes scanned the room in alarm until they landed on something familiar. With an audible sigh of relief, they fixated on the guitar case standing by the scratched door. Beaten and covered in chipped paint, it was comforting to see the old case standing there, like a sentinel or a friend. For a brief moment his head cleared and he was no longer swimming in the thick, murky waters. Maybe he needed a doctor. Something didn't feel right. He wasn't feeling sick exactly. In fact, he never felt better. His mind was comfortably numb, his muscles loose and languid. He even felt a tinge of excitement about the new album and tour, and God knew he hadn't been able to feel that particular emotion since he was a little boy. If he could just keep his eyes open. There was a dim pain gnawing at his stomach, but this he was able to ignore. It was more of a nuisance, really. Probably his poor old liver. He'd given the old girl a workout for sure. He was going to cut down on some things as soon as this tour started. She'd see to that. The drowsiness hit hard again, and he felt his eyes closing, the weights on his eyelids clamping them shut. Try as he might, he could not pry them open, not even when he rubbed furiously at them with black-stained fingers. Well, maybe just for a second, he thought, with contentment. A minute or two wouldn't hurt. He'd been on the road for weeks after all, and in the studio non-stop for nearly 72 hours. A little rest was good. As he felt himself falling backwards onto the stained, slick hotel quilt, a heavenly angel appeared before his eyes. Her beautiful chestnut hair swirled around lovely aristocratic neck. Her bright blue eyes shone with heat. She reached out her hands to him and smiled, the radiance stemming from her body brighter than the white light surrounding her. Without shame, a tear slid down his cheek from the gladness that filled his heart as their fingertips touched. And he just kept falling.